Now, for more on the British economy, I spoke with Louise Cooper. She's a financial analyst at Cooper City, and I asked her about the country's outlook.
Any economy is very dependent on consumption, so how much people spend, essentially. And the UK economy is no different there. About 60% of the UK economy is consumption. Unfortunately, since the financial crisis, what you've seen is inflation above average wages, so increase in people's take-home pay. And this is what the Labour Party here in the UK dubbed the cost of living crisis, that year after year, people's wages weren't keeping up with the increase in prices. This has now changed, and quite dramatically we've had inflation fall to hover about nothing. The last CPI print we got was 0.1% increase in prices year on year. So we've got inflation at virtually nothing, but wages are finally now kicking up over 2%, so quite strong wage growth. And that is important because it means finally Britons have more money to spend. So I think the UK economy is set for pretty good growth, 2.5%, possibly if you're lucky, 3% growth over the coming years, because we've got this consumer, this average Briton finally feeling the recovery in their pocket because average wages are finally going up. And that's, of course, because unemployment has fallen quite dramatically here in the UK.
Okay, so they're happy, they're working, they're happy, and they're making a little bit more money. London, as you probably know, ranks as one of the most expensive cities to live in the world. And I would have to think that when you're attracting companies to come open up businesses and offices and employees, does that ultimately, I mean, I could argue both sides of it, does it ultimately help or hurt the country when it is expensive?
Well, one of the big problems is housing in London. So I think the average price of a home in London is something like £600,000. Now, for the average salary in the UK, that isn't just slightly unaffordable. That's just completely never in your wildest dreams will you ever be able to buy somewhere to live. So I think one of the biggest challenges facing London, but also, to be fair, the rest of the UK, where housing has become pretty unaffordable, is the housing crisis. And already, for example, you're seeing businesses that are based in London, professional businesses, things like accounting, management consultants, highly paid businesses trying to do something because they're graduates or they're trainees or people coming into a career at the age of 20, 25, sometimes even 30, just have no chance of getting in the housing ladder. And I think that it threatens the success of the city that I call home. I truly believe it is a major policy problem. And really, there's nothing that has been put politically on the table that deals with the problem.
Louise, help us out with another issue that you guys have been, I guess, drumming up, and this is the whole thing about leaving the EU with the Brexit. For us that's not there, we don't understand the reasons why necessarily. Explain to us why and what the implications are and how serious, if it is, this may be to the country.
Well, a lot of it's political, it's not economic. So there's a European Court of Human Rights. A lot of people aren't happy with the fact that the legal system effectively in the UK now is subservient to a higher European court. And that is a loss of national sovereignty that many people in the UK don't like. We are an island, and I sometimes think we have quite an island nation mentality. And I say that with a slight smile on my face, but actually it's true. If you're in Europe, if you drive across Europe on your holidays, for example, quite easily, I did it last year with the kids, we drove through 3 countries in 3 hours. It's what happened 70 years ago when Germany invaded the rest of Europe. And I think that's the whole reason that the European Union, the Eurozone project, was created. But, of course, we're an island nation. We don't understand it. So it's loss of national sovereignty. One of the massive problems is the immigration that we've seen from the rest of the EU. So the UK is quite a vibrant, open economy with, quite relaxed labour laws. We're not France, for example. And therefore, if you want to come to the UK and start your life, we've had over 1 million Polish people come to the UK, Romanians, all kinds of nationalities, Latvians, and the sort of less wealthy EU nations have come to the UK, and I think they've added an awful lot to the vibrancy and the success of our economy. But I'm in a bit of a minority. A lot of people don't want migrants from the rest of the EU. And of course, one of the fundamental beginnings of the EU is free movement of people. And we want to take back control of our borders.
Great stuff, Louise Cooper. Thank you.